How's it going, people? Do you want to know what is the gift that keeps on giving? The answer is simple. It's Game Pass. Here are some of the best games I've played on the service this year alone. If you like this content and want to see more, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button as it really helps the channel. Let's get into the list. Resident Evil 2 Remake. This title is what defines a remake over a remaster. The game has 100% been remade from the bottom up and it is very, very good. This is a template for what survival horror games should be. Playing as Leon S. Kennedy, a new police recruit, you work your way through the Raccoon City police station as a mysterious outbreak spreads uncontrollably. It's slow moving and you have to be wary of your resources, especially when on higher difficulties. I love the feeling of vulnerability when creeping around with a flashlight in one hand and gun in the other. On top of this, Mr. X is a fantastic addition to add the tension. The game loses its momentum a bit in the latter stages as it turns to more action, pretty much like all the other games in this franchise, but it is still a great play. It runs an A side and B side so you can have multiple playthroughs to see different perspectives of the story, as you can also play as Claire Redfield. Another Crab's Treasure. This is an indie Souls-like which actually performs very well. It might not be a looker, but the narrative is very good, and most importantly, the combat is great. There's some fantastic boss designs, but the main standout is the shell system. You can practically wear any piece of trash you find in the sea as a shell, which not only provides defense, but also a special magic ability. You get a nice flow of switching between attacking, dodging, parrying, and using your shell moves in each encounter. Bear in mind this is an indie game, so expectations should be in check. There is only a single weapon and 3 stats in which you can upgrade, but what it lacks in these areas, it certainly makes up for in other areas. Dungeons of Hinterberg. Spoilers, this is on my shortlist for Game of the Year. It was such a phenomenal time and one that I didn't see coming. I first saw this game pop up at one of the game showcases either last year or the year before, and I added it to my watch list. It hit Game Pass this summer and is one of my favourite games of 2024. You play as Louisa, a law student who takes a holiday to the Austrian village of Hinterberg in the Alps. This town has been washed with magic and gates appear containing monsters, which ensues in becoming a tourist trap for people wanting to become monster slayers. You will navigate 3 beautiful distinct areas with this game's scintillating art style, while you slay monsters, solve puzzles, engage in Persona-like social links, and uncover the town's darkest secrets. Oh yeah, and you can also use magic powers. Hellblade 2. This is a dark and emotional game. It has a powerful narrative as you walk in the shoes of Senua once again and live through all the turmoils she faces. Travel through the Scandinavian landscapes during the Viking era in attempts to find the secret to end it all. There isn't many gameplay mechanics to this game, it is more of an experience than anything, with some light puzzle solving and combat. Melina Jurgens, who plays Senua, just won her 2nd Game Award for Outstanding Performance, her first being for the first game, and she definitely deserved it. You will feel like you are there with Senua, especially if you wear headphones, which is an absolute must due to the spatial audio they use in this game. Do not go into this without being in the mood for this kind of experience though. Some call Nine Souls a Souls-like, but I think it's more apt to call it a Sekiro-like. You play as Yi, who lives in a secret, technologically advanced society unknown to humans who are far behind them. You face a great betrayal at the start of the game and go on a revenge tour to kill the leaders of the council and take their souls. As you can probably guess, there are 9 of them. This game incorporates mild platforming, but the main focus is the combat, which centers strongly around parrying, although you do have a dodge as well. There is a surprisingly in-depth skill tree and several upgradable items during this game's roughly 20-hour runtime. The art style is gorgeous and the boss battles are epic. It is definitely the real deal. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle certainly earns the great in its title. Machine Games have tried something new here from their usual Wolfenstein output, but my word, they did a fantastic job. A combination of writing and Troy Baker's excellent performance really makes you feel like you are the one with the hat and whip. At times it feels like you are actually inside your own indie film. The gameplay itself stems from immersive sims and stealth games, comparable really to games like Dishonored or Thief. You want to avoid combat as much as possible and sleuth around knocking enemies out with whatever items you can find, or as a last resort with your fists. As at the end of the day, Indiana Jones is just a guy, and so it makes sense that this would be how he fights. Couple this with exploration and adventure puzzles and you got yourself one great circle. You do not have to be an Indiana Jones fan to enjoy this game, but if you are, you will love it even more. Give this a try if you like story-driven immersive sims with stealth and puzzle elements. If you've given all of these a try already, I have some honorable mentions for you. Lords of the Fallen, the reboot. This is a Souls-like through and through, and it is very difficult. The niche in this game is that it runs 2 worlds simultaneously, and I really love that hook. Definitely give this one a try if you like Souls RPGs. Still Wakes the Deep is a survival horror game based on an oil rig off the north coast of Scotland. It has fantastic voice acting and some really good scares. Also, it takes place around the Christmas period, so it is very fitting for this time of year. Flintlock The Siege of Dawn is a great action-adventure game with RPG elements. Big boss fights, great combat, good traversal, and magic powers. It has everything that you could want from a good action-adventure game. It has a lot of secrets and collectibles to discover in its side content, and it does get difficult at times, but not as difficult as Lords of the Fallen or Nine Souls. This is just a small taste of what Game Pass has to offer, and that is just this year alone. I hope I've mentioned a game here that you can add to your list and enjoy something new, and let me know in the comments below of any games that you love on Game Pass this year. For everything casual gamer, keep it here, and I'll see you next time. Peace and love.